Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Just want to touch a little bit on lighting. So now I've run you through the basic lenses or the basic lens and camera that I use for majority of my photography work, for majority of my track work of cars and events. But lighting is possibly the biggest thing that you can manipulate, or that is where beginners tend to go wrong. I've done a bunch of photography courses over the years, learnt from a lot of very skilled and experienced photographers. When the probably the biggest light bulb moment for me was I did followed an online course. There's a website called the Strobist, or Strobist 101. It's a world-renowned photographer. He goes by the moniker of the Strobist. I can't for the absolute life of me think of his real name. That's terrible. I should have thought of that before I checked this video. But he's a world-renowned photographer. He's amazing. He's known as a strobist because he works with strobe lights and sort of has a website that teaches everyone about strobing. So strobing is considered using off-camera flashes like little speed lights and stuff like that I possibly have one here somewhere, that you can set up around remote to the camera to get different lighting angles. So rather than just direct on, you can have a fill light or a hairline light from behind. You can have a fill light from the front. You have multiple different things. You can put different color gradients on, all sorts of stuff. When it comes to car photography, obviously we can't, especially track photography, we can't exactly have strobes set up all around the place. Not good for the drivers to be suddenly getting a flash of light in their eyes while they're trying to drive and concentrate. But it's also not a fixed position, regardless how many times the cars go around. They get them in slightly different positions on the track. And generally, the speed they're going, you're not going to be getting, the flash isn't going to work quick enough to pick up the car as it's going. Obviously, still photography, you're doing photos in the pits or highlight reels, things like that of cars. Yes, 100% you can set up strobes and highlight different areas of the car and brighten up bits, like in the wheel hub that's a little bit dark, or in the cockpit you can pop a flash in there and lighten up the actual inside of the car when you're trying to take a photo outside, but it's bright outside, the inside's going to look really dark, and you can kind of set up that way. But obviously when you're on the track, one thing that I notice a lot of people do is the lighting is a secondary thought for them, whereas it really should be the first thing they think of. If the lights, when it boils down to it, in photography, we aren't actually capturing a subject. We're capturing the light that is bouncing off that subject. That's how a photo works. That's how your eyes work. It's capturing the light off a subject. A photo works by capturing the light that's coming off a subject at the different wavelengths to get you different colors. If you're not taking into consideration how that light is coming off or where that light source is coming from, your photos are never going to be, you're never going to have a consistent take on your photos. If you're just kind of pointing and shooting and sort of framing the subject itself as you see it through your eyes. Your eyes are an amazing camera. They adjust to different lighting levels and they even out lighting levels and stuff. So quite often people wonder why they don't get the same look out of their camera as they saw when they're at the event, or when they're, they'll take a photo of something, look at the camera and go, it doesn't look like what I'm seeing. Whether it's the contrast is off and stuff like that. Cameras are getting amazing these days. Even the ones in your phones, they're getting incredible, and the algorithms and stuff that are behind those cameras are doing an amazing job to get them closer and closer and closer to what we see, but they're never going to quite be the same. And if you're not taking into consideration your light sources, where they're coming from, where where the reflection is going to be, things like that, you're always going to have weird things turn up in your photos that you don't want there, or not quite get the look you're after. But in the same way, if you know where that's coming from, you know what it's doing, you can do some really cool stuff with it. You can get some really tricky looking photos. You can get some really special looking photos if you know where they're coming from. I did a shoot in the last year out at AusDC at one of the events out at Eastern Creek at the Sydney Motorsport Park. It was one of those days that you just absolutely lucked out with the sunset that we had. It was amazing light, absolute, like the pure golden hour. So we're getting some incredible photos of the cars with the sunset behind them, especially ones on the figure eight track. There's a big billowing smoke, and you had the beautiful sunset coming in behind it and the amazing light. But even after that, as it started to go down, I was getting into, I move a lot. I don't stay in the same position when I'm shooting car events, just because the light changes from minute to minute, depending on where the cars are going, depending on where as the light travels, as the sun travels through the sky, you're going to be in different reflections, and it's going to be hitting from different areas. I was moving a lot, and I was getting using the light to my advantage. So the car itself was kind of dark. These awesome little hairline highlights across the top of the car with the sun's coming behind it and stuff like that. It's just about knowing what the effect the light's going to be. First thing I do, any shoot I turn up to, first thing I do is, cool, where's the sun? That's obviously going to be daylight shoot. Where's the sun? That's going to be your first big consideration, because if you don't know where the sun's going to be and you're not thinking about where the sun's going to be, you're going to be pointing into it, so you're going to have overblown, you're going to be pointing into it, so you're going to have the face of the car you're trying to shoot is going to be really dark. Your highlight's going to be blown out. Vice versa, if you have it completely behind you, then the front of the car might be completely blown out, especially if you're shooting. A lot of race cars are white. It's amazing how many cars are white. When you actually get on the track days, trying to shoot a white car with sun blasting straight on it, not going to happen. It just looks horrible. You can make it recover and you can muck around and get it, but it's so hard to get it nicely done at the high speeds we have to shoot, because then you lose, the background becomes really dark and you don't get any detail in the background. Whereas you shoot it on the other side, or you shoot at a slight angle, so the light's hitting at a slight angle on the car, 45, so it's still going to brighten it up. You're not going to lose the background, and it's just things like that you have to think about. It's fun. I never thought about it. I only know this because I went through the same thing. Never thought about it when I started shooting. Never really came into consideration. And then when I started doing the strobo stuff and started working with off-camera flash, it just gave me a whole nother perspective of what's required. It's funny, I think doing a lot of work with off-camera flash, I've got $8-9 grand worth of studio lighting, strobes and flashes and stuff, like massive, high-quality studio lights. I haven't brought them out for cheapers 2 years, 3 years. They're just sitting there. The main reason because of that is when I did all this strobe stuff and started learning about light, it actually really helped my natural light photography, because I could see the light and I was thinking in a completely different dimension of what I was previously. Still, those flashes, I will get them out eventually, more of a portrait type thing, or for still photography. Obviously can't use them for racing, which is what I've been shooting mostly. But when I start getting into more highlight reels of cars and doing more static shots, 100% I'll bring them out again, because I can get a lot more effects in camera, stuff that I normally have to manipulate after. Get a lot more in camera the way I want it, and can have some good fun with them too. I'm actually wanting to do some more nighttime-ish photos using like a light stick or something like that, and get like the cool effects around the cars. And I've actually seen some where they'll actually highlight areas of the car, so they'll do a delay shot and it's just a white light stick or a white balanced light stick, and just kind of wave it over different lines of the car and around the wheel and in the car, like just different bits and pieces of different shots. Either combine them or just leave it so it's like real weird. It gives kind of very mystical kind of lighting to the car. It looks really, really cool. Something I want to play with, but obviously you need a good car to do that with. I might take the Corolla up and have a screw around with the Corolla one day. We'll see how we go. But yeah, that's it. Lighting, it is your go-to. Before you even pull your camera out, before you turn your settings on, before you even consider anything else, have a look where your light's coming from. I will try and get a little bit more in depth in it, because this is a subject that can get really, really in depth. And without visual aids, can get a little bit just me ranting on for 10 minutes or 9 minutes now. A little bit longer than I expected to do this video. But yeah, have a think about the light. Think about where it's coming from. Think about what the effect it's going to have on your final shot, because you are not actually capturing the subject as much as you think you are. And I know I'd spent years thinking that. You're just capturing the light of that subject, so you need to know where that light's coming from. You need to know how to manipulate that light or make the most of that light in the situation if you're shooting natural light or shooting event photography. But yeah, I'm going to go in a little bit more detail on it, because this is a subject that can go a long time. I break it down to like a little multi-part series of different lights and different setups, how I use different setups, and give you a bunch of examples of what I've done previously and what the different lights look like. Might even shoot a whole bunch of new stuff just to get some more up-to-date content and photos for you guys to run through. Yeah, hope this is helpful. Hope you get a little bit out of it. If you want to find out more, you want to follow along, please don't forget to like and share. and I will talk to you in the next one.